What is up, everybody? It is me, ya boy, and I have some stuff I want to talk about. This video is probably going to be stylistically way different than what I usually do, but I just wanted to have a conversation, just a casual, cool conversation with you guys about some stuff that just happened concerning the new Pokemon games we're expecting, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, and stuff that could possibly, potentially be happening in the future, or maybe just happened in the past. I don't know when I'm going to post this as far as pre-E3, post-E3. We're probably going to get some stuff about Pokemon, about Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, come E3. I'm probably going to post this before, maybe after, we'll see. Either way, a lot of stuff is going on regarding these games in the current early summer time frame that I want to talk about, particularly with what just happened with the whole random drop of the release dates. On a Wednesday of all days, with absolutely no warning whatsoever, Pokemon just decided to give us the release dates of both Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Pokemon Legends Arceus. And the whole situation was just really weird because they only gave us the release dates. They didn't give us any more information on the games other than that, and that just is really strange in general for video games, let alone Pokemon. I can't remember a time where we ever have had this happen before. And the other thing that was really interesting is the fact that Pokemon Legends Arceus specifically got a release date. It is going to be released January 28th, 2022, which is really early 2022. We knew it was coming in that time frame, but that just seems a whole lot earlier than I think anyone expected. Literally only 2 months after the release of the Sinnoh remakes, which are coming out November 19th of this year. Overall, this whole situation has just been raising a bunch of eyebrows, including my own. I mean, check it out, look, they're just going crazy. And I actually had a thought recently, a wild, crazy thought that I just wanted to share in video form. I want to preface this with, this is just pure speculation. This is not really confirmed at all. This very well could not happen in any way whatsoever that I'm describing. It's really just to throw the idea out there and see if it catches. Only time will tell, but it's an interesting one that is at least worth thinking about, I think. So I just wanted to run it by you guys and let you know, and then let you guys make your own decisions about it. So obviously the fact that we're getting 2 Sinnoh games as far as the whole remake thing goes, as opposed to just a general remake, has been very surprising, and it's just completely new territory for Pokemon. And the very interesting thing that I've brought up before, a lot of people have been talking about before, is could these games be connected somehow in some way? They both take place in Sinnoh, one in the modern day, one in the past. They both are releasing fairly close together, which is another thing that Pokemon, as far as the main series goes, has never ever done. We have never ever had 2 completely separate games, if you don't count, I guess, enhanced versions and things like that. But even if you did count those, I don't think we've ever had main series games that have released only 2 months apart from one another. And yes, Legends Arceus is considered a main series game. For people who think it's a spin-off, it's considered a main series game. It's considered core series. But even as far as spin-offs go, I don't know that we've even had 2 Pokemon games ever in general released this close together. So it's a really just unique situation in terms of the Pokemon series. And the fact that, again, these are both Sinnoh games, they obviously share a lot of elements, just begs the question and almost implies that these games are going to share some kind of connection to one another. I have been a big proponent pretty much this whole time that Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the games that are coming out first of these 2, are going to have some kind of connection to Legends Arceus, because it just makes sense. Again, they come out really close together, they're both Sinnoh-based games, and just from a marketing perspective, it makes a lot of sense too. If you've got one game coming out literally 2 months after this game, you obviously would kind of want people, once they finish the Diamond and Pearl games, to sort of shift their focus and just attract their attention to the Arceus game. And what better way to do that than in the very game that they are playing that they just barely bought? It just makes all the sense in the world. So I have long been a proponent of this idea. The one thing I haven't been sure about, though, is how exactly they would go about this. I'm very confident it's going to happen. I just really haven't figured out, I guess you could say, how exactly they would do this, because obviously we don't have any information on the games other than the initial trailers. We still don't have any information on the games nearly about 3 months after their reveal as of the recording of this video. We may be getting some more, as I said, soon. I'm not aware of it at this time, though, and this video is probably going to go up before any of that goes live anyway. So all in all, how this exactly could go about taking place is very much up in the air. But the fact that we do have release dates, even if it's just release dates and nothing else, it is something. And the whole concept of these games being 2 months apart really provides some interesting scenarios, some interesting ideas as to what this connection possibly could be and how it could go out playing out in the actual games. Because, I mean, if Legends Arceus were to come out a year after Diamond and Pearl, or even 6 months after Diamond and Pearl, you would imagine a connection between the two in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl as somewhat of a tease, something that's kind of just sort of says, hey, this new game's coming, and just once again, as I said, put your brain in the direction of Legends Arceus. It would be not huge, but enough there to sort of get you going like, hey, I see what you did there. But now that we know that the game's release dates are only 2 months apart as opposed to 6 or even a year, I think that could potentially change how these two games relate to one another in a huge way. Because frankly, it really makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to have two major titles release this close together. I mean, we're talking about a main series remake, a major one in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and we're talking about the first open world Pokemon game ever that is breaking new ground, the likes of which we never thought possible. Both of these games are huge deals, and the fact that they're sort of just kind of awkwardly placed in the calendar, not really giving each other room to breathe, I think is very telling, to be honest with you. Because maybe, just maybe, again, this is total speculation, might be completely false, but maybe it's not so much about these games giving each other room to breathe or lack thereof, and maybe it's more about these games helping each other to stand up on their own 2 feet and shine brighter together than they could individually. And what I mean by that is, once again, the fact that these games are only 2 months apart in terms of their release date, it almost feels like a Part 1, Part 2 type of scenario, where you've got the Sinnoh remakes being the Part 1 to this new Sinnoh story, or this return to Sinnoh, if you will, and Legends Arceus being a Part 2, meaning that both of these games, in some way, shape, or form, could be telling the same story, and maybe they're not as separate as we might think. I mean, we even see this same sort of thing happen in movies a lot of the time, where whenever you have a movie that's broken up into 2 parts, you have the first part come out, and then the next part comes out like a year at the most later, maybe even 6 to 8 months or something like that, as opposed to the usual 2-3 years that you would get for the traditional sequel. We've seen this for movies like Harry Potter and The Avengers, and I guess you could say even Twilight. I don't know why I know that. But yeah, basically this whole scenario is not completely unheard of, and that's kind of what got me thinking about whether or not this could be happening with these Sinnoh games as well. Because another huge idea that's been floating around Pokemon Legends Arceus specifically is the whole idea that this game could have something heavily to do with Cyrus. Once again, I've talked about it before, everyone has talked about it. You see the little symbol logo thing on the player character's jacket, it looks like Team Galactic's logo. The professor has recruited them. Maybe they have something to do with Team Galactic, maybe the professor has something to do with Team Galactic. It seems like some sort of conspiracy is going on here that relates to Cyrus and Team Galactic specifically. People have also thrown out the idea that maybe this game doesn't take place in the past in the traditional sense, because maybe the world of Pokemon Legends Arceus is actually the new world that Cyrus swore that he was going to create someday, because even after you beat him in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, he swears to you that one day you're going to wake up in a world of his creation. Well, what if this is the world that we are waking up to that is his creation? I don't know, maybe I'm going too off the rails with this, maybe I'm giving Game Freak a little too much credit, I don't know, but it just kinda makes sense because this is one of the biggest mysteries in Pokemon in general, not just in the Sinnoh region. Everyone has wanted to know for a while what happened to Cyrus. Are we ever gonna see him again? Is this ever gonna go anywhere? Maybe Game Freak was paying attention all this time. Maybe they always had the intent to sort of revisit this when the time is right, and maybe this is how they're revisiting it, not only with Pokemon Legends Arceus, but with the Sinnoh remakes as well. Maybe they're sort of gonna be a 1-2 punch type of scenario where they're telling one big giant story, and the Diamond and Pearl remakes are the first part, and then Pokemon Legends Arceus is the big crazy second part where things just go ridiculous, just things go nutty. Which would in effect make Pokemon Legends Arceus a sort of a pseudo-sequel, if you will, which is another thing that a lot of fans actually asked for. They wanted to see a sequel to Diamond and Pearl as opposed to a remake. People have been asking for sequels to games a lot more in general, especially after Black and White 2, so I don't know, man, it seems really far-fetched, but maybe Game Freak has been listening, I don't know. And this is where this whole idea kind of comes full circle, because we talked about at the beginning of the video, how exactly would these games connect together if they are going to connect together, and if they are indeed going to be two halves of one whole story, with Legends Arceus being this crazy pseudo-sequel type thing. How exactly is that going to be pulled off, especially in the Diamond and Pearl remakes where we know the story and it's already been established? Well, maybe that's the whole point. Maybe the fact that it is already established and they are taking this very faithful route with the remake in particular, maybe that's all just part of the plan. Maybe it's supposed to throw us off to where we're really expecting it to just be a 1-to-1 remake, because that's really what they're advertising, and it ends up that way, but then at the end, whether it's at the very end and we get an alternate ending, or in the post-game something happens, it just goes off the rails and sort of spirals downhill, and the snowball starts falling into this scenario where we lead into Legends Arceus. Maybe Cyrus does something to where he actually wins. He actually figures out how to create his world, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, his prediction came true. You wake up in the next game, the next part of the story, Legends Arceus, and you get to see how it plays out from there. I'll be honest with you guys, the only thing that has me even doubting this a little myself is the fact that it is wild, it is crazy, and I don't know if I can give Game Freak that much credit. Even as much of a positive fan as I am, and I believe in them fully, I don't, like, this is crazy, it's wild, but I mean, I would be remiss, and I think you guys would be remiss too, if you didn't admit that it does make sense from the release schedule to picking themselves both up and being and just working better together, and the fact they're both based on Sinnoh, and just the timing and the evidence all adds up. It really does add up. I think it adds up, even if it's crazy. Not saying it's true, it's pretty far-fetched, I will admit, and I don't necessarily want you guys to expect this either. So full disclosure, this could be totally fake and totally not true, but I just wanted to put it out there for the sake of fun and for the sake of discussion, because it's a crazy idea, but it kind of makes sense at the same time. What do you guys think about this idea though? Am I crazy? Am I stupid? Or am I onto something, and do you like this idea? Could you see it happening in some way, shape, or form? Let me know. Leave the video a like as well if you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe if you're new for more Pokemon content all the time. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can do so by listening to my Pokemon remixes on Spotify and by watching my Pokemon Cardinal series here on YouTube. It means a bunch. It's super appreciated. With that said, I'll be back with another video very, very soon. Thank you again for watching this one. I love you guys, and until then, as always, I'll smell you guys later.